The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
That the meaning of natural-born citizen, as founders consider to be, is one that's born in the country with both parents being U.S. citizens. There's another issue. What happens if a parent has dual citizenship? Even if you were to believe that he had citizenship at birth, he had dual citizenship at birth because his father was a citizen of Kenya, which at the time was a British colony. So he had Kenyan citizenship, he had British citizenship. Later on, he acquired Indonesian citizenship. And there was never a decision by the Supreme Court of the United States whether a person with multiple citizenship can be considered a natural-born U.S. citizen.
Well, Thomas said they were avoiding it. There's a media clip that I've seen where he said, yeah, they're avoiding the citizenship issue. They don't want to hear the case for whatever reason.
Again, truth be told, when you listen to this clip, what Thomas was talking about was some citizenship of somebody who was born in Puerto Rico. And this was a congressional hearing where Congressman Serrano, who was born in Puerto Rico, was asking Justice Clarence Thomas whether somebody who was born in Puerto Rico, which is only a territory and not a state, can be considered a natural-born citizen and can be a U.S. president. So that's what Thomas was talking about. So far, they did not render an opinion on this issue. They just, I believe that our ruling oligarchy, which de facto is running this nation, a small group of billionaires who are pulling the strings of our Congress and our president and our courts, basically gave marching orders to the Supreme Court of the United States not to deal with this issue. And I believe because they find Obama to be the most convenient and most profitable. And keep in mind, people who are compromised, who have those big red buttons that can be pushed, are the best candidates for office for the ruling oligarchy because they can be blackmailed, they can be pressured, they can be threatened with the release of this information and so forth. And I would recommend everybody to listen to an interview that was given by Sybil Edmonds, who worked for FBI. She worked as a translator. She had information on 9/11 back in February of 2001, 7 months before 9/11, and she has provided this information and nothing was done. But in her interview, she stated that whistleblower, FBI whistleblower, has contacted her and stated that he did background searches on candidates for federal judges. And he mentioned that the ones that were squeaky clean and had nothing on them were discarded right away as candidates. And only ones who has been compromised in some way, maybe they are closet gay, closet bisexual, they have some kind of questionable, shady financial dealings, those are the ones that were considered and became candidates to become a federal judge, and that's extremely worrisome. And I wouldn't doubt this for a moment because I have seen judges, both federal and state, coming up with the most outrageous, illegal, unlawful decisions, acting as bullies, harassing and intimidating both myself and other whistleblowers and civil rights attorneys, and being criminally complicit in the biggest cover-up in the U.S. history. And that's, of course, cover-up of the fact that we have a foreign national, Indonesian citizen, born in Kenya, who is sitting in the White House with a stolen Social Security number and fabricated IDs. And as a matter of fact, citizens can write to courts. People can go on my website. It's orlytatesesq.com or tatesreport.com, TAITZ, tatesreport.com, and they can see on the right side of the first page of the cover page of the website something that's called Obama File. And all the evidence in regards to Obama, and also I'm publishing the docket of the 5 cases that are still being that are pending in different courts. And I cannot tell a judge what to do. I cannot influence the judge, and people cannot influence the judge. But people can write to judges stating this is an issue of national importance. This is an issue of the U.S. presidency, and we request that you hear the case immediately, expeditiously, that you hear it on the merits, that you decide on the merits on all the evidence showing Obama using a stolen Social Security number and fabricated IDs. And that's something that hasn't been done in 5 years. And the public can write to judges. You cannot influence the judge and tell him how to rule, but you can request that the judge hear the case expeditiously and that the judge address the substantial evidence, which they have not done for 5 years.
Wow, I find it just amazing, but, anymore, it wouldn't surprise me nothing surprises me anymore considering all that's happened in the country in the last 5 or 6 years. And, I just would like to know what the truth is here at some point. And we kind of know what the truth is, but nobody will talk about it that, has a nationwide voice. That's for sure. Let me, ask you a question. A lot of people bring up Just Soli and Just Sangin. I'm sure how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
And so let's go to a break and let's come back and talk about that a little bit, because we know that Just Soli is, basically, born here, and Just Sangin is by the blood. And let's talk about that a little bit. So we'll go to a break. We want to get to the truth. Do we have a usurper in the White House who is not really legitimately eligible to be there? And, all you have to do is look at what he's been doing. Do you really think he has America's best interest in mind? I mean, can anybody honestly say that at this point?
Yeah, and we just want to know the truth. And there's so many issues, like everything with the government, whether it's the Social Security card, the Selective Service card, whatever. Why don't you just present the evidence and be truthful about it?
Oh, stop it. These guys are the most transparent administration in the history of the government. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, you hater.
Sorry about that, yeah.
You're a hater. That's all it is. It's true.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, you Easter hater. Anyway, when we left, Orly, I was talking about, Just Soli, which is the right of the soil. And then, I don't know how to pronounce it. My Latin is pretty rusty.
Just Sanguinis.
There you go. And that's the right of the blood, basically. And I've had, some of the naysayers on we were just talking about, if you're a birther, their Saul Alinsky, tactic has worked very well. Anybody who even mentions this stuff now is totally discredited, whether it's in the media, on the national stage, whatever it is. Nobody wants to look at the evidence. It's right out of Saul Alinsky's playbook. You just demonize them. They're screwed up. And so you don't have to pay attention to any of this stuff. So it's actually working pretty well. But I had an argument with the guy about this particular issue, and he's basically saying that all you have to do is be born here, and you are a citizen eligible to be the president. And I think that's the big argument that the left has been presenting.
Yes, basically the left, of course, does not want to talk about this issue. They're saying, well, he's the president, he's been president for 5 years, just shut up for 3 more years and then vote. But, this is a criminal, and this is the most serious crime in the U.S. history, so it's something that has to be addressed. You cannot just shut up on about it. Plus, just as he fabricated his ideas, he's fabricating results of all kinds of surveys. We found out that in 2012, the U.S. Census information was incorrect, that there was information in regards to unemployment that was fabricated, and absolutely nothing is being done about it. We're seeing Obamacare numbers being very questionable until the last minute, until I would say a week or 2 weeks to the deadline. There were maybe 5 million, and suddenly they said, oh, now we have 7.5 million people that enrolled, and they're not providing information who enrolled and what did those people pay. Are those people citizens? We've seen them advertising Obamacare on Spanish websites, Spanish language websites, saying that illegal aliens can apply. I mean, the man is a fraud all the way around, a fraud and a criminal, and you can't believe anything that he is saying or doing, and that is why it is so important to hear this issue on the merits, made sure that he's removed from the White House, he's criminally prosecuted, that all of the high-ranking officials, U.S. attorneys and judges who are criminal complicit and who committed treason are prosecuted and sent to prison.
That's a good point, Orly, because this is not just about Obama. There seems like there's a lot of treason that's been spread around here. There's a lot of complicity going on here. For this to be occurring at this level, there's a lot more people involved here than just Obama and Valerie Jarrett.
Of course, and this is something that was in the works for years. The organizations like CFR and Bilderberg Group and Davos Group, for years they were pushing towards the New World Order. How do you achieve a New World Order when there is such a predominant nation as the U.S., with a large GDP, independent, people have their Second Amendment rights? They had to bring somebody who is a foreigner, who has no allegiance to this nation, who feels no love in his heart for this nation, to destroy this nation. So Obama was brought in, who is using bogus ideas, and he is hard at work destroying this nation. He destroyed its economy by incurring $7 trillion worth of debt. Is the same amount of debt that was incurred in 230 years from the first day of presidency of George Washington until somewhere the fifth or sixth year of the presidency of George W. Bush. By the end of this administration, if he is not removed early, he would incur as much debt as all 43 presidents before him. That in itself is criminal. That's simply bankrupting this nation, destroying its economy. For generations, we and our children and grandchildren and generations to come will be paying off the interest on this debt, never mind the principal. I don't know if we'll ever repay the principal. He is destroying the U.S. military. As a matter of fact, here's an interesting tidbit. When I had a case in Georgia, and there he was ordered to appear in court, his attorneys filed a motion to quash the subpoenas, and the judge refused to grant it. So he was supposed to respond to subpoenas. He was supposed to appear in court, provide the documents. He was in contempt of court. After the hearing, the judge said in a couple of weeks, and what we found out were two interesting facts. One, of course, state of Georgia suddenly got permits to build 2 nuclear plants, even though Obama, of course, was against nuclear power, and he was campaigning on a platform which is against the nuclear power. But second part, which is even more troubling, I found out later that the judge who was presiding the case, Michael Malihi, was actually Persian. He came from Iran. He's an Iranian judge presiding on a case. Obama was ordered to appear, didn't provide any evidence.
Yeah, I remember this.
And shortly thereafter, Obama proposed unilateral reduction of the U.S. nuclear arsenal at the time when Iran is pushing to build nuclear weapons, when Russia is increasing its arsenal. Obama is proposing to unilaterally reduce our nuclear arsenal, and that's when the judge dismissed the case against him. So that is very conspicuous in itself. Further, he recently proposed to discontinue production of Tomahawk missiles, which are by all accounts most powerful missiles. He is purging top officers from the U.S. military. This is definitely a Trojan horse, definitely a Manchurian candidate that is hard at work destroying the U.S. military, U.S. economy, the spirit of American citizens, our national security, industry after industry, and so many corrupt judges and state and federal prosecutors and congressmen and high-level officials who are complicit should be going to prison.
Listen, Orly,
for this. Yeah.
Listen, Orly, we're running out of time. We got about 1:30. I just wanted to let everybody know that, we want to give your website address again and that you are running for Secretary of State, I believe it is, and that we want to get...
Attorney General.
Or is it Attorney General?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yes.
and we want to get that information out there before we run out of time so
Thank
people
you.
can figure out how to donate to you and that type of thing. So we need people like you getting into office. So, where can they get some money to you and where can they get the information?
Thank you very much. People can go on my campaign website. It's www.ronorly, O-R as in Rita, L as in Lena, Y, ron.com, ronorlyron.com.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.